All right, how can we do something different here? What's how about the Dutch? I have bad experience with the Dutch here. Well, let's go with this. And in response to c4, I'll try this, which is the Albin counter gambit. Another one that I could use a lot of homework. I could use a lot of studying with this one. Albin counter gambit. What's going on with me playing gambits? I don't know. Okay. Well, interesting. What's the scoop here? We just transpose into how many of you are recognizing this structure right here? Because what we could be having if I take and white recaptures, it's kind of like a what? It is like an exchange French, since the e-pawns are absent, and then white almost follows up with c4, and I don't know that that's really something good. Let me see. If I take here, is the queen going to recapture? She might. Let's see. Queen or pawn? One or the other. It is the pawn. And now I think I devise a plan around the d5 square, because I am anticipating now what? I am anticipating that white will have an isolated queen pawn. As soon as this capture occurs, voila. That's what we have. So, do I take now? No, you don't take right now. You wait. What do you wait for, you might ask? Well, you wait for this guy to first move. That way he has to go 2 squares before he is right here. Now is a wonderful time. Look at that. A little patience. What does that get you? It buys you a move. It makes your opponent expend a move. So now what? This has to be a pretty annoying pin, so why not go there? Why not, you ask? Because of tricks on f7. If I did this right away, bishop takes pawn, king takes, knight e5. Basically TKO. Technical knockout. I would be dead if I played bishop here before I had my rook in a position to defend f7. My king is not a good defender of the f7 square. Queen here might be an interesting move. Defending the knight, getting out of the pin, putting pressure on b7, putting pressure on f7, and allowing for maybe a knight to e5 move. That will need to be calculated though, because I do have possibilities for snipping the knight and then snipping the pawn. I'm not sure how it all works out. Okay, now this dark square bishop, white does one thing, defends the knight so the queen is freed up, but this bishop now being blocked in, how can I take advantage of this awkward placement of the knight? I would like to have the position open up. I think c5 is a good direction to be going in. c5, why not welcome exchanges? Even though I was trying to maybe work against this isolated pawn, maybe I could shift gears here. I think I really am liking that. Or am I? What about knight here? I don't like blocking in this pawn. I think that's right, actually, though. Knight takes pawn is the threat. This knight is still pinned. If queen b3, I have a good response to that now. That's another reason why maybe knight c6 is good. Queen b3, knight a5, and goodbye to the light square bishop. And there's also, as a follow-up, a knight b4 move to d5. One thing that kind of kept me from playing c5, by the way, is that I didn't like after takes that I would have to move my bishop again, even though it's a decent diagonal pointing right at the king. Actually, maybe I could do one better. It's probably more than decent to be on this same diagonal. But I don't know, something felt a bit off, and I'm still I still have some thoughts of trying to play against this isolated pawn. I'm seeing it as a liability in this case here. So unless there's some attack against my king, I think this turns out to be a bit of a problem. And with this bishop, okay, so breaking the pin. What is the bishop doing? It's breaking the pin. What is it not doing? There's not as much pressure on f7. Maybe now is a time to reposition my knights. Get my knight to d5. What more can I be doing? If I take here... Oh, this works. I could just take this pawn. Why did it take me so long to see that? And it's important to know the follow-up here. The follow-up being that when the knight captures, I don't take on e2 with my bishop because of just knight recaptures and I'm down a minor piece for a silly pawn. But rather, after knight takes, I take with my queen. And my queen is then in a position to defend my bishop. So we're seeing that right now. Queen and knight defending the bishop. And if the knight moves, the queens come off. The position is simplifying quite a bit. I am up a pawn in this endgame, and then we are going to shift gears and hopefully have good technique in the endgame. How to recapture, queen or knight? Which one would you go with? If I go with my queen, queen here could be a bit uncomfortable for me. I don't like, well, no. No, that's all right. If I don't take with the knight, I was thinking I want to meet queen b3 with queen back here. I'm going to go with this, though. In fact, if the queen plays here, I'll just play b6. And sure enough, that's where she goes, doesn't she? So let's do this. That's how I'm going to defend. And I could always play c5, and I'll be looking to do that in a little bit from now. Okay. Also, maybe a flight square would be good. No, let me do this. Let's get this in. My bishop is unprotected. Flight square and hits the bishop, so my opponent is going pretty fast here. What about, how about I go fast too? Let's try this. My knight is free to move. Their knight is not free to move. I'm going to play knight here or something. I'd be cautious about placing myself in a pin and also maybe possible forks. Knight here, bishop takes here, and then that knight can maybe go somewhere, but I could take and be on the queen. I think this is working out. Knight here. It's this is getting actually a bit too scary for a little bit too scary for me because there's no need to work myself into a pin. So there's definitely a cleaner way to go about converting this, and I'm not happy so far at all with this technique. Not good. Again, it might be all right because I have this rook move, and well, actually, I think maybe something like this is needed. So I just have my rook defended. Now I can move my knight, and well, now I think I come all the way back here, just so I could now move my knight here. 28 seconds. Have to go quickly here. Knight to f6. We're going to have a bloodbath on this e7 square. A lot of pieces will die right here. And let's go. My knight is also watching over for this queen h7 move. Bunch of trades, tricky knights, queen and knight. Be very cautious. My knight would like to be on f4 right now. Let's maybe get him there. Maybe. My queen is tied to the defense of the knight. Not the greatest position to be in. Sneak my king over here so there's no queen h7 stuff. Queen trade. Tricky knights. Okay. Tricky knights. I get this. I'm winning stuff now. I'm on this knight. There's also a check here if the knight blocked. Let's come here. Hang on. Right here is the best. Just want to take this. Queen trade. This pawn cannot be stopped, can it? 7. Whoa. It's the clock situation here. Just want to do this. Clock, 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 clock. Stop that pawn from moving, and then I can target it. 4.2. Move those pawns and move them fast. Move this other guy. Do not allow for stalemate. Okay, it's the simplest way to do it. I'm not just doing it to be fancy with getting like a bunch of queens on the board. It's just the simplest way to do it, and you avoid stalemate. Okay, good game. Let's back up here. Hit the rewind, flip the board, and let's see where there's an improvement. So this is not the most testing line, and I don't know how much more I could really add if you did run with D takes E. I just know that if when D takes E is played, the black move is going to then be D4, making things uncomfortable for this queen knight with follow-up moves like knight to C6. I've also seen F6 thrown in here, just trying to facilitate more development for black, more rapid development. Knight out, I've seen bishop out, I've seen queen to D7 and even a queenside castle. This is the move to be looking into. I don't know that this is so uncomfortable for black. If anything, black is already equal, I would think, in this position, and maybe as white you were already feeling like, yeah, you know, this is a problem, being that you're in a pin, the position has opened up, your dark square bishop has seen better days, and there's pressure on this point right away with knight c6. So this is kind of tough. You're having to go back and you end up losing a pawn. But consider early on this capture right here. D takes E, and then after a pawn push, what is the move after that? You don't want to do E3 right away because of bishop B4. But I think there's this A3 move involved. D takes E, D4. You could bring your knight out to F3 right away, or I think something with A3 maybe right away is best. One or the other. Maybe the knight or maybe a pawn push. I like the knight move first. I'm not sure why exactly, just I guess for sake of development there. But yeah, D takes E, D4, and go. We'll just try this line instead of E3 because I'm viewing it as what? What do we have? It's an exchange French, and it's like after the E-pawns are off, it's almost like on your last move you're now playing C4, and that's not so common.